Unions ruined the shipbuilding industry, they ruined the car industry, they were ruining the newspaper industry until Rupert Murdoch had the courage to do what he did and set up printing presses at Wapping. So how are you going to create growth? You're not going to create it by pouring more money into public services directly, which are effectively unfunded or funded with borrowing. You've got to create the incentives. We've got many deprived areas in the country which need investment. Create the incentives for businesses to go there to invest. What's happening is the opposite. With gas, we're importing huge amounts of gas. You're increasing taxes on the oil companies. So we've got to import more gas because we're not exploring for any more, which is there, and we're not producing more. This is anti-growth.
Jeremy Corbyn, it's just a suspicion, but I think you might disagree with quite a lot of that.
Well, Yes, I think we are going to disagree. Sorry about that. I think we're going to disagree on that. I mean, you say this sort of throwaway remark, the unions ruined this, the unions ruined that. Hang on. Unions are organisations which workers voluntarily pay into in order to be represented at the workplace in trying to get decent wages and conditions and protect their employment.
Workers were coerced. They couldn't not join. They could not join if they didn't want to. They were blackballed. They were treated very badly. I mean, I was involved. I was around in the 70s, and
we both were.
I think we were. He was a union activist, Rocco.
Quite
I was a union organiser.
I was fighting people like.
I was a union organiser in the 70s.
They were trying to get into the hotel industry, and I was instrumental in helping to stop them. But I mean, the bullying that went on, the way people treated people terrified, actually, by the shop stewards and so on.
Hang on a minute. What we were fighting for was decent wages and conditions and security of employment. This legislation that has just gone through Parliament, or the second reading's gone through, on workers' rights, I wish it was stronger, but it is a step forward, because surely you must understand this, that if you've got a decently paid workforce in secure employment and properly trained, they're likely to stay, you're likely to get the productivity from them, you're likely to have a more successful business because of that. You must know that.
Good managers do that.
You must know that.
I do have a stable and well-remunerated workforce.
I wasn't having to go at you personally,
and I also work, have hotels in other European countries, and one particular one, Belgium, where the laws are such that it's impossible to manage. I can't make a profit out of the hotel.
Well, I talk to my friends in the unions in Belgium, and they tell me they've achieved good degrees of security of work. And
it's a bit of an understatement, Jeremy, to be fair. If you're on the Works Council, you have an extraordinary level of job security.
There's concentration. There's a confrontation all the time when unions are representing works. There's never any discussion.
How about it's just redressing the power imbalance of economic life?
I mean, the reality of today. I mean, the labour laws that we have today are quite restrictive on employers. Employees have the right to appeal against, and go to court if they feel they're unfairly dismissed. All these new labour laws are going to increase the number of cases in employment tribunals. You'll have disruption in businesses, which we don't need to have.
You can't take strike action without a ballot that's got a very high level of participation in it.
Yes,
but it's quite restrictive.
The new laws are going to say you don't need a majority of the employees to.
You need a majority of those voting.
Yeah. And wildcat strikes are going to be allowed again. And all the disruption that unions can cause, and a lot of the talk given of some of these union leaders is quite anti-business, and it's quite political, actually.
You're political. Union leaders are political. Everybody's political in some way. I mean, you have a particular view on how the world should be run. It might be not the same vision I have, but.
Well, I think my vision would be slightly more successful. If the world was run by my vision, it would be slightly more successful than yours.
What do you call success?
Jeremy.
I'm trying to get out of him what he calls success.
I know, but this discussion has sort of slightly veered off into, a very interesting direction.
Started off with national
but I do want to hear your answer to Nikki's question, which, let me just remind you...
I remember it was about the national insurance and wage
when my staff asked me why I haven't given them pay rises in line with what I usually do, what answer should I be giving them?
Well, Nikki, I obviously don't know what Nikki's particular business is, and what she has at her disposal, but quite clearly, raising wages is something your workers are going to demand for understandable reasons because of the problems they have in surviving. There's great poverty within our society. Again, I don't know what your business is, but surely you are a profitable business. You can take in some of that, if not all of that, increase and still give increase in national insurance and still give a wage rise.
But there are many companies, particularly small and medium-sized ones, who literally are on the breadline, where their owners are maybe not even taking anything out of the company themselves.
I know many people that run very small businesses in my area who work incredibly hard, pay a huge amount of money in business rates, which they frankly shouldn't have to, and I hope there's going to be a real understanding of that for small businesses. Otherwise, you just destroy high streets. And
do you think small business owners are working people? Because Keir Starmer doesn't seem to.
Well, I talk to people that are sort of running 1 or 2 or 3 person businesses. They're working incredibly hard. To me, they're working. The people that are exploiting them are those very large corporations that are making an awful lot out of the economy.